Today we're talking about feeling stuck. Why do we feel stuck? And the thing about that is that you know, for most people, when they try to get unstuck on their own, what happens is that they focus almost solely on trying to fix or change their external situation. And so today, what I'm going to talk about is how we can actually do the one thing that we have more control over, more power over, that actually is way more effective in getting us unstuck, so that we can then set off on a pathway to just greater success, greater happiness, greater confidence. And this reminds me of a story that was actually not too long ago. My tires in my car, they're spinning, and the butt end of my car is just kind of like sliding dangerously back and forth in about 8 inches of this really heavy wet snow. And I know at the time I really shouldn't be out here driving. It's not the ideal driving conditions, right? But I feel like I don't have any choice. You see, I feel stuck, literally and figuratively. I know that at any moment I might, find myself stuck in the snow, but really I'm also stuck at this job, driving for Uber. And I cringe a little bit even as I say that now. At the time, I'm broke, right? And that makes me feel this feeling of desperation. Like the thing is, like I have to be out here in the middle of this once in a decade blizzard here in Seattle. And I have to be out here because I have to be looking for fares, right? I have to be looking for rides so that I can pay my car payment, so I can get more gas, so I can, you know, go out there and look for fares, so I can make my payment, so I can get more gas. You see where this is going, right? I'm stuck in this endless cycle, right? This endless kind of rut. And to make matters worse, I've got this passenger in the back seat, and bless his heart, I know that, he's frustrated too, and he needs to get somewhere. But he's in the back seat, and he's actually criticizing me for how my car is handling in the snow, right? And I just want to scream at this guy, just bloody murder, profanities. I want to just pull over and tell him to get out and just kick him out into the storm. But of course, I don't do that. So, do you know that feeling when you've been stuck for so long that it seems like you just don't see another pathway? But at the same time, just from the bottom of your heart that something has to change, and it's got to change now. It's like this is enough is enough. So I drop my passenger off, and then I make my way home safely. I'm still feeling pretty down, pretty stuck, pretty desperate. But as I look out the window of our house, the snow's still falling, and there's this white blanket of fluffiness over everything. It's getting pretty thick. This is one of the once in a decade blizzards here in Seattle. Our front yard, we've got this big cedar tree in the front yard, and the branches are just covered in snow, and there's occasional little plops of snow, bigger chunks of snow falling down, and it's just kind of beautiful. And in that moment, all that frustration I was feeling while I was out there driving, it just kind of melts away. And that's when all of a sudden I have this epiphany. And I realize in that moment that I'm not stuck in a situation. What I'm really stuck in is a way of thinking. And I see it all unfold that somewhere along the way I had decided that there were no other options except maybe to complain about all the different ways that I felt stuck and trapped. And then I start to laugh at myself, not in a good way, in a friendly way, because it started to dawn on me that I really did have a whole bunch of choices. I wasn't actually stuck, not really. And so I don't know if it was exactly that day, but it was soon after that I really started to look into new possibilities, not just for a new job, but finally, once and for all, for a new career, for something that was going to really fulfill me, something that was going to, you know, have some meaning for me. And so I started to do all these things. I started to journal about it. I started to meditate on it, think about it. I started to listen to my heart about it. And, I now believe that it was that willingness to be open to something new that one day, out of the blue, I was able to hear my partner, who's now my beautiful wife, tell me about an old friend of hers who taught a hypnotherapy certification course actually just a few miles from our house. And of course, the rest is history. So, what changed, right? As I look back at it now, I think that, maybe she might have even mentioned the training program before, but because I was stuck in a constricted way of thinking, I just didn't hear it. So, really, it was just about relaxing into that openness, that willingness to entertain the possibility that there was another way, another path, one that was just right for me. I just had to open my eyes and look around and be curious and willing to take a few steps towards something I maybe hadn't thought of before. So, what I'd like to talk about today is how you can begin to open your heart and your mind's eye to what's out there and what's out there waiting for you. And we can do this most easily in a relaxed state. We don't even have to call it hypnosis, just a state where you can become a little more quiet and a little more spacious. So for for this next portion of our live stream today, just make sure you're in a comfortable, safe place, whether you're listening to this as a live recording or as a recording later on, backup recording. Just make sure you're not driving or juggling sharp objects or chainsaws or whatever you're doing. And just find yourself a nice comfortable seat. And then if you like, you can close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, just begin to notice and become aware of the feeling and the mass of your body. Feel where your body is connected to whatever you're sitting in or whatever you're laying on. And feel the weight of your body pushing down. And it feels good to feel that weight of your body pushing down as the force of your chair or whatever you're sitting or laying on is also pushing up, meeting your body and supporting you. And as you're enjoying this experience, you can bring your awareness to your breathing and just notice the rhythm of your breathing. However you're breathing now, just noticing the rise and the fall, the inhalation and the exhalation of your breathing. And as you think about your breathing and notice your breathing, you begin to recognize that your conscious mind, up until now, maybe hasn't even noticed that you've been breathing all along. And that your subconscious mind has been managing the process of breathing, breath by breath, and moment by moment, really for your whole entire life, whether or not you're consciously aware of it now. And as each breath relaxes you more and more, you can just simply allow the sound of my voice to just guide you into just the right state of openness and awareness. to begin to imagine that you're walking along a pathway. And it's a pathway that you've been on for a long time now. And you feel your feet on this pathway as you step by step continue along in this very familiar direction. The same direction you've been heading in for so long. And you notice the color of the sky around you. You notice your surroundings as you move along this path, this familiar path. As part of you begins to recognize with a little bit of a softening in your heart, a little bit of compassion, as you begin to understand that you've been on this path, even if it hasn't been going in the direction that you want to go in now. Because part of you has felt comfortable. Because this path has been familiar. And as you continue along this path and you're thinking these thoughts and feeling these feelings, your head begins to rise and your gaze begins to look out. And you suddenly begin to realize that there's actually other paths, other roads, other trails that branch off of this pathway that you've been on for a long while now. And as you recognize this, a sense of excitement begins to build as you recognize that there are different choices, different pathways, different trails. And whether you decide to do so quickly or take a few more steps, you identify and recognize a new pathway that you just know is a pathway that you want to explore. Because as you look down that new pathway, you're seeing all kinds of wonderful, enticing, new experiences, new possibilities, new achievements, new goals, new outcomes. And as you begin to take your first steps down that path, at first it may feel a little bit scary. As you step off of the familiar old path that's been going in a direction that you no longer want to go in. You want to head in this new direction. But you recognize that sense of fear can also be thought of and experienced as excitement, anticipation, a sense of wonder and curiosity as you begin to walk down this new path in a completely new direction. And as you move down this path, just experiencing new experiences, learning new things about yourself, trusting yourself more and more as you move down this pathway. And you notice on either side that it just feels more expansive, more free. and your gaze is towards the future now. A bright future. One with new possibilities, new success, new happiness, new confidence, and new joy. And as you continue down this path, allow your subconscious mind to imagine all the changes that are happening now that are making it possible for you to find a new pathway, to be open and willing to explore a different way, to explore a new way of thinking, a new way of perceiving, making internal changes that make it actually much easier for you to influence your external situation, your external circumstances. Allow your subconscious mind now to project these learnings all the way into your future now. Learning more and more with each step that you take. Internalizing these learnings and continuing this process of growth and change all the way into your future starting now. That's right, very good. And now in a moment, not just yet, but in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And when I reach the number 3, you can just open your eyes and come back to normal waking consciousness and allow your subconscious mind now to process everything that you've learned, integrating all of these learnings deep into your being so that the changes that you've initiated here continue all the way into your future, starting now. 1, starting to come back. Number 2, that's right, easily coming back. As number 3, open your eyes all the way back, feeling wide awake, feeling refreshed and wonderful in every way. And welcome back. So, having options is freeing. Knowing that there are other pathways means that there are actually many ways for you to get to your destination. Even if you're not sure yet what that destination is. And that's why I've written a book that actually outlines some of the steps that you can take to not only find a new path for yourself, but also how to go about getting going on that path. A path towards greater confidence, greater happiness, greater success. And if you're still hanging on here and watching this video, it means that you're ready to set out on that new journey. So I'd like you to go ahead and drop the word pathway down below. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a link that's linked to actually a coupon for $10 off the newly updated edition of my book, You Can Change Now. And this new ebook bundle package, it also contains 3 brand new hypnosis recordings of hypnosis sessions that actually correlate to the material in the book. And these hypnosis sessions, along with all the material in the book, are aimed at helping you to move along this new pathway towards, again, greater confidence, happiness, and success in your life, so that you can make a greater impact in your world, in your business, in your relationships, in your work, in your community. So again, drop pathway down in the comments. I'll send you that link. You'll get $10 off the whole package, and you can start using that material right away. So thanks for watching today, and I'll see you again soon.